What is going on, Washington football fans? This is another video coming at you from the Washington Football Report. This is JD. Let's dive into this. So, the two topics I want to talk about today are kind of a spin-off of the topics I talked about yesterday. A lot of people commenting about, in my video I did yesterday, I was talking about Thaddeus Moss getting cut. And really, I don't have an issue that he got cut. What I have an issue with, really, is that we have a player on our roster named Bryce Love, who has been on our roster for now 3 years. And he tore his ACL in December of the year before we drafted him. Okay, December before we drafted him. So he had 6 months of rehab right there, 5 months. And for some reason, he's still on our roster. We've never seen him play, yet we're still giving him a chance to come back. And I don't understand the logic behind letting him play through it and work his way back. But I don't understand why we don't let Thaddeus Moss work through a foot injury. Considering Thaddeus Moss is a fourth rounder. Bryce Love is a fourth rounder. He's getting paid more money. Now, the argument here, I'm going to go ahead and place the counter argument, is that if Washington lets him play out his contract and then they just don't re-sign him, they get a compensatory fourth rounder, I think, like next year or something like that. So that's probably why they're doing that. But it doesn't make sense. He's costing more money, and Thaddeus Moss doesn't cost that much money at all. Why would you cut him? Why wouldn't you just let him sit on your roster, heal, or at the very least, let him see if he can come back during training camp? Because he's definitely, in college, he was a very good blocker, and he didn't drop one pass as a tight end. And him as a 2 or even a third tight end would have been very useful to Washington right now. So that's kind of my qualms with why we cut Thaddeus Moss. I thought we had plans for him. I thought we'd at least see him through preseason. But I guess Washington just wants to go forward and not have to worry about. I don't know. I don't know the logic. Maybe if they don't cut him before a certain time, he gets paid all of his money, and even if he doesn't play, it doesn't really matter to me. It's only like $600,000. Why does that freaking matter? But regardless of that, the second topic I want to talk about is in my video yesterday I posted. We were talking about trading up, and a lot of people talk about trading up from Trey Lance. And I'll get that in a minute. And I argued that you don't have to trade up to 4 to get the quarterback you want. Some quarterbacks going to fall to, you can get him as low as 8, some as low as 14. You don't have to trade all the way up. And here's why you don't want to trade up to 4. If you trade up to 4, you're going to have to give up like 3 or 4 picks. Like 3 picks, 3 first rounders at least to get up to 4. And my argument here is this. If you're going to trade up to 4 and give up 3 first rounders, give up some more capital and just go to number 2 and go all in and get a quarterback. Get Zach Wilson. Okay, I've been adamant about this. I think Zach Wilson's the best QB prospect probably since Andrew Luck. That's just my opinion. But if you're going to go up all the way to 4 to get a quarterback, you might as well just go 2 more spots and give a Brandon Sheriff or Landon Collins or both of them to a team so they have some building blocks and they have all the strap capital we give them plus 2 players. Just to move up number 2. If you're going to go up to 4, you might as well go to 2. That's my argument. Whereas if you go to 14, you might move up 5 spots and give up our first this year and maybe like a second and a fourth next year or something like that. So it's not going to be that bad. Now, here's the main crux of this video, and it's starting to kind of frustrate me how much people talk about and how highly they talk of Trey Lance. So Trey Lance plays in what's called FCS. So those who don't know, that's a football championship series, not the bowl series. So this is like Division II football. Okay. That's what he played in. So this is his stats from the university, from North Dakota State University. Yeah, 42 touchdowns, 3,800 total yards is very enticing. I'm not going to lie. That's very good stats. Here's my issue with all of this. I didn't want to do that. I just wanted to bring up that. Look at who he's playing. Look at the caliber of guys he's playing. This is his 2019 schedule. Okay? 2019 schedule. You have Charlotte, I don't know, CSU. It's not a big school. Eastern Washington. Iowa, I'll kind of give you. Iowa's a decent school. It's definitely Division I, but it's not like the best school, but it's a decent school. It's in the Big Ten. Cal Poly, garbage. Northern Alabama, garbage. University of Delaware, garbage. South Dakota State, garbage. UNI, University of Northern Illinois, garbage. Western Illinois, garbage. Iowa State, garbage. South Dakota, garbage. Youngstown State, garbage. Missouri State, garbage. Southern Illinois, garbage. Montana State, garbage. Colgate, garbage. North Dakota State, garbage. And Eastern Washington, garbage. All those teams are flat out garbage. They are garbage teams that any one of the quarterbacks in this draft could play for better teams other than Trey Lance. Any other quarterback in this draft played for better teams that would have done the same thing, if not worse, than what these teams did to these teams. And I watched his highlight reel yesterday, and I also watched 2 game films. Okay? The highlight reel that I watched, he looks like he's throwing to wide open receivers. It's not like he's throwing to guys that are they're contested catches and he's got to put in the right spot, that perfect spot for them to catch it. He's not throwing the wide open guys. This is his highlight reel, his 2019 highlight reel. He's throwing to guys that are wide open. Okay, wide the heck open. Okay, I'm not showing it on here, but it's actually the year before this, he played even worse teams. Butler University, who's known for their basketball, not football, and Old Dominion, who's not a very good school either for quarterbacks, for anyone, for talented. And Old Dominion is the highest rated team he ever played. And there are people out there that swear by this guy, like, oh, we need to draft him. Here's how you know if a quarterback needs to be drafted in the first round. If he is drafted in the first round, he needs to be able to come in and start right now. If Zach Wilson or if Trey Lance walks in the building today and in training camp, Taylor Heineke breaks it, or I don't want this to happen, but gets injured, and Matt Ryan gets injured, and Steven Montez gets injured, and he is the only quarterback we have available on the roster. Are we winning games? I say hell no, we're not winning games. He's not accurate. He can't throw to anyone unless they're wide open. In his highlight reel, he's dodging tacklers, but this is guys that play Division II, Division III. They're not going to play in the NFL. Not one, maybe one or 2 guys that are going to play in the NFL. But none of those guys are high draft picks. You look at other teams, and I'm not going to get too much into other quarterbacks, but I'm just going to look at Mac Jones. Mac Jones played against teams that had way better talent. He threw against way better talent. He also threw to better talent, but he threw against way better talent and was successful doing that with a very high completion percentage. And we're going to look at Trey Lance, and who didn't even have as good a completion percentage as Mac Jones, and say that guy's better than him. I'm not saying he is. I'm not saying Mac Jones is good at all. I think Mac Jones has his flaws, and I'm not going to get into those on this video. It's strictly about Trey Lance. But there is nothing to me that convinces me that Trey Lance is anything close to what we need at quarterback. He's not a first rounder. I'm sorry. If you can't draft, this is the same thing I said about Dwayne Haskins. If you can't draft him right now, and he can start this year, he's not a first-round quarterback. He's not. You're going to waste a pick. You could get him in the second round, but everyone's desperate for quarterbacks, and everyone's desperate to throw quarterback to the Wolves. We're going to do the same thing we did with Dwayne Haskins. Dwayne Haskins should have been a second or third-round quarterback. This guy, based on his production in college and where he went to college, is a second-round pick at best. Maybe third. I would take Kyle Trask over him. Because at least Kyle Trask played in the SEC, and he played really high-level talent, and he played with high-level talent. So he had something to prove. He had guys around him that he needed to get the ball to. He had. When you play at North Dakota State, you have nothing you got to prove. You play against nobody. There's no one that can tackle you, no one can outrun you, whatever. So it's going to take. Someone needs to convince me why you take Trey Lance. Because nothing I've seen on either game film I've watched or the highlight reel I've watched says this guy's a Pro Bowler. This guy's a pro football player. He's not. And if you think like, oh, give him like 3 years to develop, we don't have 3 years to develop. You don't draft the guy 4th overall. That's how high people want to take him. 4th overall, and have him be a 2 or 3 year project. If Zach Wilson were drafted, if Trey Lance, Trevor Lawrence was drafted right now, he'd walk in and start. Zach Wilson, he'd walk in and start. We don't need him to. We do have a year gap where with Fitzpatrick and possibly even Heineke, we do have a 1 year gap where you can like kind of sit behind and learn, kind of like Patrick Mahomes did. But we are not going. He is not a quarterback. You can walk in the building today and start. Therefore, in my mind, you don't trade up for him. In my mind, if you draft him at 19, that I can kind of live with a little bit. It's later first round, but still, in my opinion, first rounders got to start. whether that's whatever position it is. And if we draft him at 4, he better be able to start right away. If not, I'm not all about a 3-year project. You give any quarterback in this draft, you give them 3 years to sit behind someone, they will be a productive quarterback in some way, shape, or form at the end of those 3 years because they had time to develop. That's not the point of drafting a player 4th overall. You don't draft a player 4th overall so you can sit and develop them for years. You draft them so they can play right now. Because that's what a first-round pick is for immediate gratification it's immediately supposed to elevate the talent of your team. That's what a first-round pick is supposed to do. Now, if you have a low first-round pick, that wavers a little bit. But the 4th overall pick, hell no. Trevor Lawrence is going to impact Jacksonville right away. Zach Wilson, immediately going to impact the Jets. Fields, I'm not sure on. Mac Jones, I think Mac Jones, if he gets drafted by 49ers, which is what the rumors are, he's going to do a situation where there's a lot of stuff around him. So I think he will be injected into a decent situation. But Lance is going to sit for 2 years because he can't start. He's not talented enough. I don't want to be a dead horse. I'm sure he's going to be a decent player for somebody, but not at 4th overall. That's why I said if we trade back to 15, I could maybe see it. I can maybe see trading up to 14 or 13 or something like that. I could see that a little bit. But I do not see us trading up the 4th overall pick for a guy who's got to sit for 2 or 3 years. I'm sorry, I'm not about a project. This team is in win-now mode in the next 2 or 3 years. And Trey Lance is not going to be available in 2 or 3 years. I'd rather just take a guy, Kyle Trask, in like the 3rd or 4th round, and instead spend our picks on improving the linebacking core, improving our free safety, bolstering the rest of the offensive line, and adding depth. Okay, I've ranted long enough. This is JD. This is Redskin. This is the Washington Football Report. Please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. I'm at like 490 subscribers. I'm about to get to 500. I'm very excited about that. I want to get to 500 for the draft. And actually, a lot of my viewers are not subscribed. So hit that notification bell, or hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. You get videos like this all the time. Not to mention, big announcement. I plan on having the Washington Football Report podcast starting within the next week or so. You'll get, if you follow me on Twitter, it'll be a huge announcement. I am WFT Report. Highly recommend you go over and follow me on that. Give a lot of insight on things. And then also, I do recommend a website an app called Sided. It's a sports debate app. So, thank you for watching. This is JD. Hail to the Redskins. See you.